What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my vlog. Today I'm wearing my brand new American Outlaws shirt that just came in the mail. I believe it was earlier today or possibly yesterday. I can't remember. American Outlaws is the official U.S. soccer supporters group, and it's a group that I've been a part of now for 1 year. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of that group. You get to go to the bar and watch games with a lot of crazy Yankees and really have a great time and cheer on your team. Today I'm going to go a little bit out of order for obvious reasons. I want to get to England last because I have a really, really long lecture that's going to bore the heck out of you. So let us start with Colombia and Ivory Coast. First of all, I want to say this James Rodriguez kid is the real deal. He is an incredible talent. It's clear why Monaco was willing to spend so much money to bring them to their club. And they're making a lot of Colombians forget about Radamel Falcao sitting at home with his injury. Gervinho's goal, though, was top class, best of the day, the way he cut inside two players before slotting it home. The last game today was Greece versus Japan, and I really enjoyed watching that one, even though it ended with no goals. Both sides played really well. Could have been a goal, maybe even two, if they'd played just 10 more minutes of that game. The Greece players and fans should be proud of their team because they made me completely forget at times that they were down to 10 men. They canceled out everything Japan had, especially in the air. With crosses, Japan could get nothing from these Greek defenders. And now the game that I am most excited and least excited to talk about, England versus Uruguay. England, as usual, underperforms. They did not play what their squad is capable of, and it's disappointed me, disappointed millions of Englishmen throughout the world. And honestly, I did not see a touch from Steven Gerrard. I think that last Luis Suarez goal should not have counted. I think he was clearly offside. Now to my boring lecture. I'm going to discuss a little bit of soccer history with you guys. England is the country that invented the game. We all know this. And the first thing they did after doing so was take it across the channel to Central Europe. And see, England remained separated from the rest of Europe by the English Channel, while ideas spread from person to person throughout Central and Western Europe, because Central and Western Europe is actually quite possibly one of the most densely populated areas in the entire world. It's such a huge network of ideas. Just look at the Renaissance and all those ideas that spread through there. Anyway, as ideas continued to spread, England remained separated by this English Channel, this body of water that separated them from the rest of Europe. And this is today why England, the English national team, isn't as good as a lot of its neighbors from Central and Western Europe. And it's why a lot of the best coaches in the world are from Central and Western Europe, like Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, or Vicente Del Bosque, although not a lot can be said about him much right now because he just got his team dumped out of the tournament as well. Now, TV and the internet have made this world that we live in a heck of a lot smaller, but it is a ways away from counteracting years of history, which still puts European teams, mainland European teams, a good jump ahead of these English players and managers. Now, that being said, I do not rate Roy Hodgson as a coach at all. He was somewhat of a success at Fulham, completely bombed at Liverpool, and somehow that made him a decent candidate for the England job. You see, England has this idea that spreads like a virus, and it is a virus because it's harming them. They have this idea that spreads from the higher-ups at the FA to the press and down to the common folk, where they believe that England invented this game, so the coach of the English national team should be an Englishman. Let's be real. England has the best soccer league in the world, and there's not a single English manager out there in the world that's capable of winning it. No one has, no one's going to for quite a long time. They almost had it right when England hired Capello, but he's more of a defensive-minded Italian, and it was probably the wrong guy and the wrong time. And honestly, the fact that he's not English probably was one of the reasons he was let go. What England should really consider doing is dumping Hodgson and taking a lesson from us here in America. We tried something in 2010 that did not work out, and it didn't work out in 2006 either. We tried having an American coach in Bruce Arena in 2006 and Bob Bradley in 2010. We tried having an American coach our American team, and we weren't very impressive. What we've done since then is we went across the Atlantic Ocean and recruited a coach from Germany. Well, really, he lived in Los Angeles, but we recruited a German coach who is a beneficiary of all these decades of knowledge being passed down through generations as the game of soccer really grew and evolved without England. We got Jurgen Klinsmann. Since then, he has built this program of U.S. soccer to be one that a lot of people want to play for. We're playing really good soccer. Julian Green, who could have been a star for Germany, decided he wanted to play for the U.S. The set-piece play is really good. That's one of our strengths. And he's just continuing to build a program. He keeps mentioning the American way. He wants to build an American way of playing soccer, which is something that the Dutch have, the Spanish have, the Italians have, the Germans have, but the English really don't have. And so, after they dump Hodgson, the man I believe is right for the job of coaching England is, drumroll, Guus Hiddink. It's obvious. Guus Hiddink is the choice. He is probably the biggest exporter of soccer knowledge in the world. He started in South Korea, and they had never won a World Cup game before. Never won one. They'd been to the last several World Cup tournaments, but in the finals proper, they had never won a single game. What did he do in 2002? They went to the semifinals. The semifinals. They beat Spain on penalties. Then he went to Australia, although not very long, but he really turned that place around. He brought them to their first World Cup tournament in a long time, and they haven't missed one since. He brought them to the World Cup in 2006, and they have not missed the last two since. And their program is continuing to improve, and a lot of that is probably because of the lessons that he left there with that group of players and the culture that he changed. And then Russia. Russia's another program that's on the rise, and a lot of it came to be around the time that he was there as well. Turkey, the same. I'm not saying that England needs a huge revolution or anything like that. I think they need a culture change. And I think that Guus Hiddink is the right guy to bring that about. I think he could create a culture where people get excited about these games again. Because honestly, 6 of the last 8 World Cup tournaments, England has been either eliminated by Germany or Argentina, if I remember correctly. And I just don't see how hiring an Englishman is going to fix that. So I think Hiddink's the guy. I think he should be hired tomorrow. Now that you're completely bored, we're going to talk about soccer again instead of history. Tomorrow's games, we have Italy and Costa Rica. Costa Rica looked like true World Cup contenders when they played against Uruguay, but I don't see that wave of good fortune continuing at all in this game. I just think Italy is too talented and disciplined. Italy wins this one by a score of 2-0. Switzerland and France. Switzerland has quite a few highly talented players. I like Shaqiri a lot. I like a lot of the other guys they've got too. But France has a lot of talented players. And so I think after cruising in their first game against Honduras, although they were playing against 10-man Honduras, I think France will cruise again in this game to a 2-0 victory. Honduras versus Ecuador. Honduras, without their star midfielder Wilson Palacios, who will be suspended from that game for his red card against France, Honduras will struggle in that game. They're going to really struggle to compete with a highly talented Ecuador team. I see Ecuador winning this one 2-0. So we have 3 2-0 victories tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video, even though I probably bored you with a lot of history. England, do what I said. Get rid of useless Hodgson and don't hire an Englishman. Hire somebody like Guus Hiddink and do it right now. And maybe you guys can fix this. We've already done this. We hired Jurgen Klinsmann, and our program is on the fast track to just so much improvement. And I honestly want the same thing for England, which is where my grandparents are from. But I just don't see with this virus idea that they have that the English coach should be English. I don't see how they're going to ever improve if they continue with that sort of mindset. Thank you guys, and I'm going to let you guys go now. Have a wonderful evening. Well, morning now because I'm probably going to post this later on.